All right, grab your blocks. Should we go get some blocks? Bring them beside your hips. Your feet down to the mat. Knees are up. L-sits, they're not necessarily fun, but they help us keep our core engaged, building shoulder strength and breathing. That's a great thing, and it's a really good warm-up. Bring your feet down, bring the blocks beside your hips, up and back, extend the arms, shift the hips back, and straighten the legs. Breathe. Pressing, shifting, maybe even play with floating a foot. $30. Breathe. 5.
I think maybe spot would be appropriate dose of DMA.
Just a minute. Yeah, for sure.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. I didn't say that. Did I say 30 seconds? I must have been mistaken. No, it was definitely wrong. It's okay though. It's okay. Like I want everybody to be comfortable failing. Like it doesn't mean you're like lesser human. Like we're intentionally pushing you to that point because that's where you see the breathing works. And if you're the things that we're working on in yoga are like mental things. So like coming to that edge of a place where like, oh my gosh, I want to quit. But you don't. Maybe breathe one more breath. It works in handstands, it works in L-sits, it works in all kinds of things. And that's a good neurological kind of rewiring in your mind because you're going to be able to use that once those channels per se are like active. And you're at work or you're at whatever, and something challenges you, you're like, okay, it's not that big a deal. You don't automatically shift to fight or flight. So that's what we're doing. So like, who's heard of Jocko Willink? Like, I'm sure some guys in here have. Jocko's like this, was he Navy SEAL or whatever? He was like a special forces guy who is a jiu-jitsu guy. But his like Instagram is like the only thing he puts on his Instagram is when he wakes up to work out. So he's got one of those Ironman watches. So his Instagram is 4:45, 4:42, 4:47. And when you listen to him talk, he's like, no one is any like more special than anybody else. Some people are willing to work harder than other people. That's what separates essentially people that achieve from people who don't achieve. So we're going to achieve our else. He's on Joe Rogan. Lift up, back, breathe. Tuck. Work to lift your feet. Really work that. Rest. 5 seconds. Yeah, how's it feel doing a longer one? Harder. One more. Bring your hands to the wall. Your feet to the mat. Last one. Up and back. Breathe. You're active, shoulders active, but relaxing down your back. Breathe. Good. So put your wrist down. This is now, I noticed your pants, and I was like, you could go to yoga and then you could go hunting.
Yeah. Yeah, you've never seen this.
It's like total camouflage. So bring your feet up and just windshield wipe your knees a couple. Continue drawing in those deep belly breaths. Back to center. Make sure your feet are kind of toward the top of your mat. And just begin to roll yourself back. Come toward plow position. Reaching the arms long, reaching the legs long, looking straight up. And exhale, bring your feet toward the mat. As you make these rolls, start to see what it's going to take to roll up, getting your hips off the mat. Lower yourself down lightly. Two more. Roll yourself up and come into a forward fold. So bend your knees a lot. Hips bend, hands flatten, head is heavy. You can work to straighten your legs a little bit by pressing your heels down. Like pulse your heels down one at a time. Sway a little bit side to side. Head is heavy. In fact, reach for opposite elbows and sway your arms and your shoulders. Flat hands back to the mat. Inhale for length as you slide your hands up your shins. Crown of your head pressing forward, hips pressing back, shoulders drawing down your back, and your spine as long as you can. Take another breath in. Exhale, fold it down. Use fingertips. Imagine your hands are heavy, press through your heels. Inhale, roll up through your spine. Shoulders are over your hips, shrug your shoulders up. Roll your shoulders back so fingers are reaching toward the feet. Shift your weight left and right to your feet. Inhale, take your arms. Lengthen the arms. So we've got length in the arms. We're not shifting into the chest, drawing the shoulders down to the back so the shoulders are more connected. Spinning the pinkies in. We're bending your knees and rotating your knees out. Stick your glutes back a little bit. Take a breath in. Exhale, dive down. Flat hands to the floor. Inhale for lengthen your spine. Hands to your shins. Long spine. Exhale, hands down. Step back. Strong plank. Fingers spread wide. Shoulders toward or past the wrist. Look forward. Keep shifting. Bend the elbows and press to lower. 3, 2, down. Flatten your feet. Slide forward and hug up. Roll the shoulders back and down to your cobra. Press the feet down, squeeze the glutes. Breathe 3. Good. Breathe 2. Lower your chest, tuck your toes, open back. Strong downward facing dog. First down dog in the practice is probably bending the knees, lifting and lowering the heels. Letting the head sway side to side. Shifting your hips to the sides. Seeing how that feels. Good. Coming back to center. Look forward. This first time, walk it forward. Step, step. Keep the hands down and forward. Inhale for length, sliding up. Elbow back, chin tucked. Exhale, folding up. Pressing through your heels, slow control, rolling up. Dragging the shoulders up. Rolling the shoulders back and down. Breath in. Breath out. Jump. Exhale, dive through. Lengthen your spine. Plant your hands, float your feet back. Strong plank. Press to lower, slow and control. 3, 2, and cobra curl up. Take your hands away. Put your hands behind you. Lift your shoulders higher. Spin your palms toward the floor. 3. Good. 2. Down, toes tucked, downward facing dog. Fingers spread wide. Elbows hugging in. Bending into your knees and looking forward. So in a perfect scenario, look where you want to put your feet. They're not going to go if you don't already look where you want them to put. Bend your knees deep, so down toward the mat. So your glutes are approaching your heels more. You might even shorten your stance, walking your hands towards your body. So I want to spring from the hips as I look forward. Up and lower. So it might be a little different than you normally do. Halfway lift. Fold down. Press through your heels and roll it up. Shoulders up. Roll your shoulders back in. Breath out. So if you were here last week, some of you were, we talked about a couple of things. One of them was like when you're in that floating place, or handstand place, your shoulders are up, but they're lowering, right? So when you get into that float, you can extend them out. You have to start with them in this lower place. 2, the ribs. So I said like bringing the ribs down. Susan, you kind of said you thought it was more like back. Back, down. You're drawing your belly in and down, all right? But you can still breathe. Because if I'm just doing this, can't talk anymore. That's too much. So it's subtle. You've got to get the core engaged, but you can still breathe. Lastly, spinning the legs. So there's an outward spin that works. There's an inward spin. Y'all feel that? You spin the knees toward the outside. You spin the knees toward the inside. Play with it, right? So that's 3 things. You already have all these other things to think about. But when you start to play with those things, it's going to kind of start dialing it more into your body. Take your arms and reach them up. Go ahead and take the ribs down or back as you fold. Core stays engaged. Inhale for length. Plant your hands, shift forward, float back. Press to lower, slow and control. 3, 2, it's going upward face. Shift forward, bend back. So the only thing on the ground is the toes and the hands. You go over the left shoulder and go over the right shoulder. Chin to chest, big press, roll back. Draw the shoulders into your body a little bit more. Hands are spread wide. Draw the ribs in. Look forward. I'm going to try the internal rotation on my thighs. As I look where I'm taking my feet and spring up. And lower my feet down. Give it a shot. See how it feels. Right or wrong, just bring some more engagement. Good. Halfway lift. Deep fold down. Press down, inhale, roll up. This time we're going to take the arms overhead. We're going to simulate that handstand. So press like you're pressing into the floor. Roll your shoulders down your back. Take the ribs in and back. Spin thighs. Breathe. This is your place. This is your handstand. This is where you're passing through. Extend your arms up so the shoulders come out. Drop the shoulders down. You've got to move those shoulders. Extend up. Down. Extend up. Down. Reach up. Fall down. Find length. Plant your hands. Shift your weight forward. Lightly float the feet back. Shift and lower. Slow control. Stopping 1 inch from the ground. Coming forward and up. To your upward face. Big press back. Downward face. Allow the shoulders to plug in towards your torso. Draw the belly, ribs back and down. Rotate the legs. Look forward. Bend. Spring. And press. Halfway lift. Deep fold down. Press down, roll up. Reaching. Simulating a handstand. The shoulders drop down. Ribs back in. Spin the knees out. Shoulder out, joint. Back in. 1. Lift. Back in 2. Lift. Good. Got your water if you need it. You might feel anything different, like when you were doing that and you try to hop forward. I heard some noise. I don't know if it was a little more comfortable. In what way?
Like hopping forward, more comfortable.
More controlled?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're, otherwise, like when you start doing that, you go to class and like, we've had a lot of new people here recently, right? And they see us doing it. And I watch them. And they're like, I'm going to try that. And it's like a train wreck. Because they had no idea. You know? It's like, okay, put your hands down. And, you know, it's like these kind of things going on. But I mean, it's good that they have that, like the ability to try it. What we're looking for is control. And the control comes from practice. The control comes from breath. The control comes from all these things in our body. Bring your feet to the top of the mat. Bring your heels to touch. Normally I say like feet are closed. Widen them out on the front just a little bit. Like you put one fist between your big toes. Now, rotate the legs out. Stick the glutes back. This should be more difficult, but you've got a connection to the legs. Take the arms up. Try to take the shoulders behind your ears. Back to hook your thumbs, lift higher, draw them back. Feel like you take them a little bit further than normal. Release the thumbs and keep them there. Look up. Hips back. Try not to lean your arms forward. Shift your hips back more. Plug the heels together. Breathe. Breathe. Probably feels a little different in your back. 2. And fold down. Inhale for length. Exhale to float your left foot to the back of the mat. You have to put your hands down if you want. Keep that right knee over the right heel, rotating out. Reach your hands behind you. So you're actively reaching the fingertips back, torso's leaning forward. And then look, keep that engagement and rise up. Cross lunge. Bend the pinkies in, bend into the front thigh, straighten your leg. Breathe 3. Beautiful, y'all. Bring 2 hands down, flip the right foot back. Let it hover as you shift through plank. Pressing to 1 inch, inhale, upward face. Exhale, downward face. Widen your stance from down low. So the elbows are hugging in, the shoulders are plugging in, bending deeply. So the knees are approaching the ground. You're looking forward. Draw the belly, the ribs back and down. Spring, float, lower back where you started. 1. Forward, spring, float. 2. Spring, float. 3. To the front of the mat. Try to spring float and lower your feet by your hands. Have to lift. Heels are together, fold down. About a fist width between the toes. Sit back, reach up. Hook your thumbs and take those arms behind. Stretching that mid back, low back, sit lower. Breathe 3, look up. 2. Rise up, hook the thumbs and bend back. Hips forward, shoulders back. Relax your neck and space. 3, 2, hands lower. In.
Are your knees first?
I can't. I can't.
So would you rather the feet be out right now?
My knees touching, my feet are together. When I open up a fist width, my knees are not touching. So if your anatomy could be different. I don't think it's like, what we're working on here is that rotation.
So right now you want the feet.
Yeah, so kind of like a duck foot or something. So like spinning the thighs out. Which for me, I feel it like into the glutes. Y'all feel that? Like, yeah, no? Your back. So everybody's probably going to have a different experience with it, right? But we're trying to connect this part of our body. And this thing connects together. So we're like, it's not floppy around, if you will, right? So bring your heels together, spread the toes up a little bit. That rotation, draw the ribs down and back. Reach the arms up. Take the arms behind your ears. Look up, sit the hips back, squeeze the glutes, breathe. Lean those arms back, sit the hips lower, 3. Good. 2, full. Find length. Maybe without hands, you take the right foot to the back. Reach the hands behind you, active, head forward. Keep this engagement and rise up. Press lunge, bring the pinkies in, bending into that front thigh, straighten your leg. Moving. 3. Good. 2. Hands down, float the left foot back, let it hover as you shift through plank. Stopping at 1 inch, inhaling upward face. Exhaling back. Downward face, fingers spread wide. Shoulders plugging into your body. Looking forward, that's important in all these. Bend the heels, the hips toward the heels. On an exhale, looking forward, spring press, float. 1. Spring press, float. 2. Spring press, 3. All right. Graduation hop, look forward. Float and try to lower your feet by your hands. Halfway lift. Heels together, spread a little, fold. Sit back, sweep up, reach up, take the arms, hook the thumbs, lift behind you, sit back deeper, look up, 3. Good, 2, rise up and then back. Forward, shoulders back, squeeze the glutes, 3. 2. Good. Breath in. Breath out. So we're going to, again, after we finish kind of our mat work, we'll do like we did last week, we're going to go to the wall, not the second. So you can practice that same thing that we're doing, right? All that engagement. Hips, abs, shoulders. 3 things. Not like there's not enough things to think about, right? But you've got to be aware. So as you start to progress in your inversions and your floating, if you're not paying attention to those things, if I say, Taylor, what are you missing in that? And you may be like, I don't know. And I'm going to say, that's your homework. Figure out, because we do. If you come to class, we're doing these frog hops. If you come to Budokan, we're doing split leg handstand. You have opportunities to study yourself. And if you're not studying yourself, I don't care. But if you're practicing and you're starting to get the deeper things, you need to pay attention to what's going on in your body. Because that's part of what we're doing. This is an internal practice. It looks like somebody looks outside or they're watching this, like, these people are like, they're all about their bodies and they're doing all this external stuff. It's more about what's going on inside. So what happens on the inside when you get more control of the inside world, you can do whatever you want to the external world. All right? And you can change that. When I went to 5-star and got on the little scale today, I'm like, well, I put on 6 pounds during quarantine. You know, I was like, dang. And I thought I was doing pretty good. But then it's like, but I'm not going to judo. I'm not going to jiu-jitsu. You know, I'm like, I'm not doing things that I normally do. I eat just the same, so I didn't like change. I can scale my calories back. So let's start back at the top of the mat. Do a little bit more of that frog hop, begin our flow. Bring the heels together. Press the hips back. Reach the arms up. Bring your hands to heart center as you sit your hips a little lower. And take the left elbow and hook it outside the right knee. So sit the hips back more. Press the elbow to the knee. Press the hands together. Open to the right. Notice if one of your hips is like lifting, splitting them. Try to bring them like back equal. Sit the hip a little lower if you can. Open up a little more. There's another hand position that you practice. You can take it. Breathe here for 3. Good. 2. Hands back to heart center. Hug the heels in. Take the right elbow outside the left knee. Connect it and open to the left. Again, noticing what your hips are doing. The knees splitting out. Hold it. Breathe in the hand position. If you do a different one, you can take it. Breathe for 3. Good. 2. And fold down. Let your head hang heavy. In fact, bring your hands behind your heels. Lengthen, inhale. Pull yourself down, fold, exhale. Imagine you're so long through the spine of your head, it's approaching the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, shift your weight forward, float your feet back. Slowly lower. Upward phase. Plank. Widen your feet. Lean over to the right. Try not to move your hips much and tap your right shoulder with your left hand. Left hand down, tap your right shoulder. 4 times. 4. 4. Move your hips too much. 3. 3. 2. 2. 1. 1. Plank. Are you in a normal plank? Like hips down? So what I see a lot of times when we do something like that is we leave the plank and we come up to this like kind of like plank dog because it's easier, right? Down dog. Find your down dog. So there is no thing called plank dog. You're either in plank or you're in down dog. And I get it. Your body wants to do what it can for you to do the movements. Let's put our right hand in the middle and spin the outer edge of our right foot for side plank. Bring your left hand to your left hip. Any foot position, you can be in front or behind. I like stacked. But if we're not there yet, we lift the hips more. Take the left arm up toward the ceiling. Press through that right hand. Bring the back of your left hand to the back of your head. Or the palm to the back of your head. Lift your left foot up. Exhale, take your left knee towards your left elbow. And inhale, open up. 1. Exhale, elbow to knee. crunch. 2. Elbow to knee, crunch. 3. Elbow to knee, crunch. 4. Got it, breathe. Crunch. 5. Down dog. Shift forward to your plank. Not plank dog, plank. You all have a plank. I've seen it, I know it. 3 taps to each shoulder. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, down dog. Left hand to the middle, spin to the outer edge of your left foot. Take a moment. Take your right arm up. Bring your right hand to the back of your skull. Lift the right knee up. Crunch the knee toward the elbow and open up 1. Crunch 2. Crunch 3. Crunch 4. Crunch 5. And down. Knees to the mat. Child's pose. Relaxing the forehead toward the mat. Relaxing your hips toward your heels. So your brain might be like, what does that side plank crunch have to do with anything else that we're doing? Think about what I was talking about connecting, right? From the hips up through the mid-ribs. We collectively could call that core, right? How do we really work? Most people. Most people don't. Clearly, you can go to Walmart and see that person. We're not most people. And so rather than think about like sit-ups or just regular crunches, we're doing more dynamic things. So our shoulders haven't hold us up. We haven't had balance, we haven't had breath, we haven't had all those things. Meet back and down dog. So widen your stance. Fingers are spread wide. Take the heels and the glutes and bring them closer together. So it's a deep bend in the knees. Look forward, getting ready to spring. And exhale, press and rise up. Lower yourself down. Give 3. Look forward. Big, solid attempts. Float and lower. Float and lower. Excellent. Now, look to the top of the mat. Into your knees. Float. Try to take your feet down to the side of your hands. So it's a little more like holding that space up there. We lift halfway. Deep forward. Lift your feet, put the back of your hands on the ground. Bring the toes to the wrist crease and the foot. So number one thing I see when people start this, they don't get the hand down. See it? Almost wrist lock yourself to get the hand down. You might be deeply bending into the knees. Then you replace the hands. Your head is heavy. Hamstrings are tight, and that's how this works. So just straighten the legs maybe. Elbows go out a little bit more. You can give your wrist a little massage with your toes. Get that far up. Breathe 3. Good. Breathe 2. Release. Inhale, lift halfway. Plant your hands, shift your weight forward, lower your feet back. Slow control, lower. Inhale, upward lift. Exhale. Find your plank. 3 shoulder taps, both sides. Lean and tap. Slow and control. Doesn't have to be quick. Yeah, the shoulder girdle stability. Very nice. And putting the left hand down in the middle and rolling to the outer edge of the left foot. Reaching the right arm up. Side plank. Hand to the back of the head. Lift the right leg. Connect. And open. 1. Connect. Open. 2. Connect. 3. 4. Breathe. 5. Down low. Plank. 3 shoulder taps. Each. Right hand to the middle side. Left arm up. Hand to the back of your head. Left leg lifts. Connect. 1. It's lifting. 2. 3. 4. 5. Down low. Breathe. Move forward. Take your feet to meet your hands. Lifting halfway. Deep fold in. Good. Slow roll up through your spine. Reaching the arms up. Bending back for 3. Nice. 2. And slower. Good. Grab your water. So we're going to use this wall to play with. You don't need your mat, but for the mat. This is our hot wall. Because it's brick. This wall is sheetrock with some crappy metal studs. All right? So if you go through this wall, you've got some power. What we're going to try to do, well, you all know where you're working, but I want you to get up to that handstand. Then I want the shoulders to draw in. I want the ribs to draw back and down. I want you to spin the legs out. So you're connecting everything together while you're up there. Last week, Rob said, oh, wow, when I did all that, I floated off the wall. That's what we're looking for. So if you're not doing any of that stuff, you're just like, oh, I'm on the wall. You know, you're kind of like on the wall. But as soon as you start to do all those things, you may find you get a little more like straight and straight. So please find you some water. I'll come around and like assist. If needs help getting up. Belly in, legs spinning. Breathe. The hand's active as you press. Good. So Taylor Carley, suggestion, split your legs when you come out. It makes it like a lighter come out. So you leave one leg on the wall, and then you reach the other leg from the floor. Nice. You were off the wall. But you were off the wall. That's the beginning. One more. Back to the mat.
Another question.
Yes.
Why is it easier for me to come off the wall instead of doing straight legs and cobbler's legs?
Like that?
Yeah, like that. I have no problem.
Because your hips are open, it's connecting your core more.
The thing I've noticed in general with conversions is it seems like it's so much easier for me to load this position or problems.
You're engaging your core by taking your knees out.
Gotcha.
You come to another class, something I've been doing, I got Emily trying to do it, I told Caitlin about it. So if we're in the class and we're lined up like this way, if you want to practice that in a normal vinyasa class, get on this wall. Okay? So front row. And when you're doing the sun salutations, and you get the option to float up, you've got the wall. So you're not going to go flying through the parking lot, right? And the more that you do that, the more that you get your body used to doing that, the easier that's going to be. Like the sooner, if that's a goal or whatever, the sooner that you're going to just be in a class and you're going to be like, okay, I can just go up. It's terrible. Oh, you're tired. But you just go up. And you're like, hey, I didn't even have to play here. You know, just come down. Right? So that's the wall for that play stuff. All right, have a seat with your feet forward and your knees up. Take your hands behind your knees. Lean back and float your feet. Tuck your chin, draw your shoulders down your back. Reach the legs forward and slide the hands back as you go. So now you're in the hover. The arms reach overhead. Plant like you're in a handstand. Draw the ribs back and down, of course engaged. Spin the thighs. Breathe 3. See if you can plug your shoulders into your back. Breathe 2. Curl back up. Slow, lower through. Find that hover. Arms reach behind. Press them as though they're in the ground. Draw the shoulders into your back. Now extend them out. So press your longer. Everything's engaged. 3, 2, curl up. Last one. Chin tucks, reach forward, slow control lower. Hover. Arms overhead. Press. Shoulders draw in and then extend out. You're lifting, you're pressing. It's a handstand. 3, 2, take it down. Big in through your nose. Out through your mouth. Bring your feet to the mat for bridge. So you're pretty close to hips, hip width distance apart. Arms hugging in, pressing down. Rise up. I like to slide my shoulder underneath a little more. If you've got a hand position that you like, keep looking up. Lift your hips. For 3. Good job. 2. Hips down. Reach wide the knees, left and right. Two more. So if you want to go in the wheel for both of these, you are welcome to. We go up the same way. So the feet are close to the hips. The elbows hug in. We rise up in the bridge. Then you can put your hands on the ground by your ears, popping up to the top of your head, hugging your elbows in. It's a big press through the hips, the heels to straighten the arms. Breathe. 5, 4, straighten. 3, 2, down head, shoulders, back, and hips. Circling the wrists if you are on your hands. Everybody wants you wiping their hands. One more. I'm going to give you the option to shift feet in and like lift the leg if you're doing those fancy like one-legged wheels. And I'll give us time to do both sides. So feet close to hips, elbows hug in, hips rise. Shoulders underneath, put the hands down, hug the elbows in, top of your head. Rise up. Bring that left foot to the center if you're going to lift the right leg up. And point the right foot at the ceiling. Breathe. 3. Energy in that foot. 2. Right foot down. Walk the right foot to the center. Lift the left leg up. Straighten it. Breathe. 3. Breathe. 2. Bring it down. Widen your feet. Lift. 3. Lift. 2. Head. Shoulders. Back. Put your knees in. Circle on your lower back and your hips. Take your arms and reach them behind you and flatten your hands into the floor. Point your feet to the ceiling. Keep your tailbone down for a second. But really work to straighten your legs, straighten your arms. Like I was saying, you take a new person, you ask them to flip back, or just kind of throw themselves. You are experienced practitioners. How are you moving from this L shape into plow? So you're not throwing yourself, okay? I want you to tuck, draw the ribs in, engage the core, lift the legs, press the hands, and curl up and back into that shape. With the feet reaching for the floor, the hands reaching behind you, and you're looking straight up at the ceiling. Wow. So notice how close or far your feet are from the floor. Notice where your body feels tension. Neck, the low back, hamstrings. And exhales to release tension. Slowly begin to roll your hips toward the ground. Catch your feet as they pass. Get your tailbone on the mat and come into dead bug. So the heels are pointed up, the knees are bent towards your body. You're pulling into the feet and kicking into your hands. Breathe. Three more breaths in the chest. Release. Hug your knees again into your chest. Good squeezing. That curl up towards your knees. Make your body as tight of a ball as you can. Really exaggerate your rolling this time. So see how far you can go over one side without completely losing your shape. You might surprise yourself. It might be further than you think, so if you can go back. Move forward. Just explore there for just a couple more breaths. Good. Come back to center. Keep your left knee hugged in, take the right leg long. We're going to pretty much come into a supine tree. So we're going to pull the left knee up towards our left shoulder and release the left knee out toward the ground. So if you work that foot in the hip tree pose, you can take that here too. You can draw the foot across into your right hip as you lower the left knee down toward the floor. Breathe. So the left knee is energetically reaching for the floor. 4, 3. 2. Release and draw that left knee back up. Give a good squeeze in toward your left shoulder. And reach for the outer edge of the foot. So we're doing like a half dead bug. You're pointing the heel up. And you're pulling the left knee toward the outer edge of your body. Kicking into the hand. Pulling back in the foot. Breathe for 3. Good. 2. Straighten the leg and open it to the left. Keep that right arm and shoulder down as much as you can. Now you want to adjust yourself on your mat. Breathe. If we bend in that knee and draw it back up, half dead bug. Release, hug your right knee in, extend your left leg long. Open the right knee out to the right, so we're taking that supine tree pose. So the foot can be on the thigh. You can drag the foot across. Open the right knee out and down toward the floor. Left foot's active. You breathe. Right hand can gently guide that right knee closer to the floor. That shape for 3. 2. Release. In a little bit. Reach for the foot. Pointing the heel toward the ceiling. Pulling the knee toward the outer edge of your body. Left arm over to the left. Keeping that left arm and shoulder down. Really give it a kick and a pull. As you straighten the leg. Open it out toward the right. Breathing the whole time. Bending that knee. You draw that leg back across. Pull the knee toward the outer edge of the foot. Outer edge of the body. Half dead bug. You breathe. 3. 2. Release. Extend both legs long. If any movement or shape that your body is calling for to complete your practice, feel free to take it. Final relaxation. Extend it long, relaxing off to the side. breath. So moving into your fingertips, toes. Inhale as you reach your hands behind you, giving yourself a full body stretch, back through your fingers, forward through your feet. Exhale, bringing your feet to the mat, rolling to your right side. You can use your right arm as a pillow. You walk your hands a little closer to your body and press yourself up to a comfortable seat. Facing in front. Sit nice and tall. Close our practice with 3 rounds of deep belly breath. So exhale out as much as you can. Feel the ribs tucking in and back. Inhale, fill up. Exhale to press out. Now, exhale. Last one. Inhale. All the way up. Closing. Bring your hands together to heart center. Thank you for your practice and your dedication. Your support of each other in the studio. You have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. See you again soon. I guess I should say announcements before the class. We have Brittany Wooten, so another local power teacher. She'll be joining us, our team, next week. Her first class is going to be Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. Not many of you seem to be 6 a.m. people play. We're expanding, or I haven't seen you at a 6 a.m. class, but, and then Emily's got a 6 a.m. Friday class, hot class. Whitney's is warm. And hopefully we'll be able, like we're filling the classes pretty well, mostly, so we're gonna keep adding, so be watching, as the schedule grows. I mean, we have, I don't know, 10 classes, it's a lot of classes. 3 years ago I started with 8 classes. That's how it happens. Thank y'all for your support. If you have any questions about anything, let me know.
I can say this, I'm not really an early morning kind of person, but if you have it,